There's a huge difference between being a founder or manager and being a highly effective CEO. It's a tough transition to make, and the first time CEOs who struggle to make the shift are the ones who ultimately end up bottlenecking growth. Over the last decade, I've helped CEOs in 16 countries to evolve into the leader that their business needs. And in this video, I'm going to break down for you the 5 biggest red flags you need to watch out for that may mean you're thinking or operating like a founder or manager and not an effective CEO. Red flag number 1, when you get a new task, your first thought is what do you need to do instead of who needs to do it. When you're a founder, it's usual to be involved in everything. If anything, you need to if you want to build momentum and grow. As you start to scale though, if you don't learn to let go, it's only a matter of time until you find yourself feeling stretched thin and overwhelmed. Effective CEOs though, their focus is far more honed in. They defend their time, they delegate more, and they empower others to get things done. Red flag number 2, you put everyone else's needs above your own. So many of the first-time CEOs I work with want to be the leader that everyone can turn to. And while their intentions may be in the right place, what happens is they find themselves in a situation where their days is all about putting out fires, solving other people's problems, and not actually getting around to the things they need to do. Even though it may feel uncomfortable, if you don't want to get stuck in the weeds working in instead of on the business, then you have to learn to say no, to push back and set boundaries where you do stuff on your own agenda without feeling guilty. A simple way to tell whether or not you're in this trap: think about the last few weeks. How often have you had days where despite being busy, you don't actually know what you did? Well, that's a telltale sign you need to get better at planning, prioritizing, and defending your time. Red flag number 3, you avoid giving feedback or having tough conversations. You'd be amazed how many first-time CEOs I speak to who put off having tough conversations for weeks, if not months at a time. And I get it, they're uncomfortable, they're not something you want to have to deal with, but they're also part of the role. And the longer you delay on them, the more you allow underperformance to continue, problems to manifest, frustrations to build in the team. And that's not to mention all the anxiety and stress that you're putting yourself through by worrying about what you're putting off. Red flag number 4, you seek approval or sign off from others. I often work with first-time CEOs who are younger than their leadership team, board, and other stakeholders. And because of it, they convince themselves that everyone else is more experienced than them, causing them to seek input and approval before they take action or make decisions. This can cause a lot of misalignment because they know that they need to do something, but they talk themselves out of it. And then later they beat themselves up because they know that they should have trusted their gut. So yes, external input is important, but at the end of the day, no one knows the business or the vision better than you do. And that's why if you want to drive the business forward, you have to develop the ability to trust your intuition, because if you don't, you're always going to be second guessing yourself in everything that you do. Red flag number 5, you allow your emotions to dictate your actions and decisions. When you're running a company, it's easy to get stuck in the daily firefighting and never-ending demands where something happens and you just react to it and dive in. The reality is though, there's no way you can make the right decisions or show up at your best when you're in this heightened reactive state. That's why it's so important to recognize that there's a huge difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is impulsive, it's driven by emotion, whereas a response is processed and controlled. This is why highly effective CEOs don't react. Instead, they've got the ability to stop, process problems, understand what is happening, and then choose how to respond to it. This is how they stay in control, regardless of the chaos going on around them. Like I said, there's a huge difference between being a founder or manager and being a highly effective CEO, and that's why it's so important to recognize that what got you to where you are today isn't going to get you to where you want to be tomorrow. If anything, your current mindset, your habits, your way of operating and doing things that got you to where you are right now is going to be the very reason you become stuck. One of my favorite quotes is, your business's growth will never outgrow your inner growth. And that's why it's so important to recognize that every new level of success is going to require a new level of you. That's why I created the Evolve program to help first-time CEOs evolve into the leader their business needs to get to the next level of success. So if you want to find out more about how I can help you take control and become more effective in your role, then drop me a message. So there you have it, the 5 biggest red flags you need to watch out for that may mean you're thinking like a founder or manager and not a highly effective CEO. Let me know in the comments below which of these stand out to you the most and what would you add to the list.